Welcome! As always, we're here to talk about the amazing, fantastic, wonderful FileMaker community. Thank you all very much for your patience today, especially. And we're here to discuss FileMaker. Nick is continuing one of his value series, which will be really interesting, I'm sure. Real quick, the schedule, since we're doing this at high speed. Tomorrow we've got more Nick. What is a value? Day 3. Friday is going to be file maintenance, compressed copies, and recover command, and FileMaker with Jacob Taylor. Monday is going to be multi-record selection and FileMaker for beginners. Tuesday is drag and drop. And then Wednesday is super optimization and FileMaker, day 1.
I'm going to do something special today because I was doing something for somebody I'm doing coaching, right? And I want to, we're going to do something. I'm going to show this, but we have we will do other demonstration of the value list, right? Because we are on the day 3 of the day 2 of the value list. How to use the list of values. Sorry. Okay. Blah blah blah. Let's rewind. Okay. So we're going to the list of value. Okay. So it's something that I really want to focus on in the FileMaker community because we don't use that technique much. I mean, many of developers don't know about this way of sorry. This way of this way of coding, right? So to use the list of values as our what's the name, a way to manipulate data, and to instead of using what's the name, records. So that means what I want to do, I want to do a recap a little bit on this, right? So what we did last week, because we have like a week between 4 days. So what I want to show you is this. I want to show you all the arsenal of possibility we have with the values, okay? So again, I'm going to explain what a value is. A value is anything, any text between a carriage return, okay? Each time you do a carriage return, you have a value. That a value, that a value, that a value. A value can have multiple words, this is a one value, okay? See, this is one value, okay? Because if you have a carriage return, okay? So it's a phrase, anything you have on the carriage return, this is a value. And so you have multiple ways to obtain values. You have the summary field list of that are a good way to do values. You have the list function that gives you value. You have a value list that gives you values. So you have a lot of possibility to get values. Okay. So, and this is very, very interesting. So I want to focus on this today on something very special because I did that for a customer of mine. I did that yesterday, and I want to use it, to show it, and then I'm going to give the file at the end. Okay, so because it's interesting to see what we can do with the list of value. In the same time, I'm going to teach the people how to do stuff with this, how to manipulate the values. All of this without manipulating records, because when you manipulate records, when you do finds, when you do what's the name, when you sort, when you need to manipulate the data, do things with data, and you want to stay in the field, right? You have problems because it's heavy. It's heavy to move. Remember the analogy I did, last time with the factory, and then the cargo ship, and then the truck, and then the little truck. So you need to go small, and the smallest, in the food chain, right? In the food chain, the smallest, the lowest level in the food chain of data in FileMaker is the value. Okay, so it's what you put in the field. This is value. This is the smallest. You have You have the FileMaker file, you have the table, you have the field, you have the record, and inside the record, you can put data and you can put values. Right? So here I have a good example of how to get this technique in use. The question was from our customer that tells me, look, I want to know the totals here, the totals per page. So I want to know the total of this page and the total of this page, right? So he wanted not a cumulative total, because that's easy. He didn't want the total of the first page and then the total of the first page plus the total of the second page. No, he wanted the total of the first page, right? And then here, the total of those 3 records, right? So the total of those and the total of those, right? That's what he wants, because it's required by law in his country, right? So, and I said, look, we have only one way to do this, and is to use the list of values. Okay. So what are we doing here? So we have values here. So we have, let's pretend we are in the invoice system, and you have items, right? And in each item you have a price. Okay, so you have an amount here. Okay, on each item of your invoice. Okay, so what I want to do here, I want to make sure that I can have I want to select a number of records, and I want to have a total on this, right? And I want to make sure that I have a total per page. Okay, a total per page. So how you can select a bunch of records, right? How you can select a bunch of records and without manipulate records. Okay, we use a list of value. For example, in this example, let's say I want to get the list of values in my amounts here, right? I want the list of this. So I have the list of this is coming, right? 10, 11, 12, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 100, 101, and 205, and 206. Okay, so I have the using the list function, I can get this. So let me give this opportunity to do a little course on the list function, right? So the list function, how it works. When you use the list function here on a field that is not related, on the current field, let's say, for example, on summary, I'm doing this, he's doing this, right? Even though if I have, let's say this is test 1, let's say I have another record, test 2, let's say I have another record, and here a new record. I need to stop this, otherwise it will. And I want a new record. Oh, okay. Oh, I have a bug on my file, so I need to make sure that I go there. And sorry for that. So let me deactivate that for now. Otherwise, you will never let me go. And I have a new record here, test 3. So even though I have 3 records here, right? If I go there, it will just give me the list, the current record. It won't do any list. It won't do lists across records. This is a job, okay, of another function, of another feature that I'm going to show you later. But this, the list doing this is just returning the current record. So you will say, okay, why the list? Because you can do this. You can do, I want the list of this, right? I want the ID, on the count of line, and I want the number of line or page, or the number of page. So now you have multiple what's the name? Fields inside the list here. You can call multiple lists, right? Multiple fields into a list function. And then at the end, you have a list. You have the test one first, then you have the ID, then you have 13, the count line, and then you have the page number of page, right? So that's the list. So what happened now, if I use the list with a related record, like amount, it's a related record. Is this, if I do this, up, now I get the list. I get the list of this field of all the related records. So I understand why some of you guys are completely lost here, because we have completely two different, what's the name, behavior, okay? When it's local and when it's not local. When you point to a local field, you have the current record, and when you point to a related field, you have the list of the related records, right? So, and this is what is a little bit confusing. Now, what happened if you mix both? If you have in your list statement, you have a local field and a related field. It happened this. It shows, it breaks, so you have a third behavior, right? And it's pretty much combining both. That means it will show the record of the summary and the first record of the related record, right? So it will break this, right? So you will say, if you want to do, right, the list, right, in that case, you need to do two lists. If you want to do this, right, if you want to do, let's say, a list of the summary of the ID, and you want to add, right, and list of the related field, you have to do this. So you have the summary field, the ID, and actually we can, I don't know if we can do a list within the list. I don't remember we can do this. Yeah, we can. Okay. So we can do this. You can do a list within a list. So you can say, I want those two fields local and the list of all the related records. So do we have any questions so far? Because I don't have my my Discord with me.
Nope, no questions. Kind of just a comment. Shigo, I know how to fix it, but I think it's good to point out that if there's a carriage return within one of the fields in the list, it messes up the list. I say that because it's messed me up more than a few times.
Yeah. So you understand. So that's why I want to show the list function, because the list function has multiple behaviors. It's not at all documented, and it's a little bit voodoo. Okay, I have to admit it. So I wanted to point out this. But here I want something simple. I want to use this, right? Right. I want to use this. This. I want the list of this, right? So before we go further, I want to show you how we could do a list of the summary field, for example, in the local table. In that case, you need to create a field for that. It's a list of, okay, a summary and summary. Some summary. Okay, don't know what happened to me. So summary, great. So you want the list of, this is a new function. New. It's in the FileMaker 17, something like that. And you can point to any type of field. This is only on numbers, right? I cannot, total, but this one is for all of them. So I can select summary. Okay. And now this field here will show me the list of 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for a local table, if you want to have a list, you need to use the summary field. For related records, you can use the list function, like used above. That will work, right? Okay, so let's move on. So why I want to I want to select, I need to do 2 calculations, right? I need to do 2 total. The first total for the first page, the second total for the second page, the third, the fourth, the fifth, etc. So here, you can see here, I have a global field, where I say, look, I want 10 record max per, when I print here, so let's go to the new window. When I print here, I want only 10, right? I have only 10 rows. So I know how much I will show, 10 items. I'm not showing more. I can have less if I have 1 page only, if I have only 3, that good, but I cannot show more than 10. If I go more than 10, I have a second page, okay? Because here I have a layout that shows only, for my presentation here, I have only 10 records. So I know that. So I put this here. I know I have 10 records. On that layout, when I print the layout, I have 10 records. I know that. It's fixed. So now it's easy for me. So what is easy? What's easy? Why is so easy? Well, because now I can do this. I can select, right? I can select the first page. So I can select all, let's say I want this here. I want the list of the amounts of that invoice. And I say here, yes, but I have only 10 records per page. So I want to take this middle, or left value on this, and I want the 10. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from 10 to 104. This is page 1. Okay. But then I want to select another batch. So that's for the page 1. So everything okay with the page 1. But then I want the page 2. So how I can do this? This is why we use middle values and not left values. So the middle value here, so let's copy this. What middle value? It says, okay, this is a text, the list I want to select. And I want to start from 1 and I want 10, right? So what do I need to do? This is the first page, right? We remember I start from 1, from the first, and then I'm going to select 10. What happened for the next page, I said, okay, I start to 11, and I want the next 10. I don't have 10. I have 3 because I have only 13 lines. But what happened if I said this one, this one, this one, I add more, okay? So I have 17 now, right? So what happened if I have 17? But now, from the first to the first 10, and from the 11 and 10, from the 22 and 10, 31 and 10, for each page, first, second, each page, I'm going to count, right? This. So you see the advantage of taking in account the using the list of values instead of using go-to layouts, select the 10 first record, tell me how much I have the total, and using a summary field, set a field. Look, it's complicated, right? You have a lot of manipulation. Here, I don't have a lot of manipulation. I have just, to do the total on this is kind of easy. I mean, FileMaker could have done the thing easier, right? But anyway, I'm going to show you. So you understand what I'm doing here. So let's go further. I'm taking my list. Oops. I'm taking my list of amounts. I'm taking the number of pages, the number, okay, number of pages. Okay, oh, sorry. Number of pages. Now that I have, I forgot about this. Now that I have the list, right? I can, so you have another cool stuff on our arsenal that I want to show you. It's count. Count is super crazy cool. Let me show you. What counts? So we have a lot of arsenal. We have a lot of weapon in our arsenal for that. We have count, we have value, we have a lot of what's the name? We have a lot of function with values. We have the left value, middle value, value count. Okay. So what counts? Count is this. Count, right? And I'm going to go to the amounts, my related record here, right? And I will say, okay, I want to count a field whether I'm sure to have data. I am sure to have something in the field. What best than an ID? Because we're sure to have something here. So I want to count this field. What happened? Oh, 17. Yeah, it's true. We have 17 records. We have 17 records related. That counts, right? That count. Counts on a related records it will do a count of what he found, right? So if one of those records, a value was missing, let's say you have an empty field on that record, it won't count it. It won't take into account. Right? You need to make sure that you have a data. So demonstration. Let's say I count an amount. Okay, and I say this one is blank. Okay, is not, yeah, it says 16. Oh, I need to refresh. It says 16. Why? Because it's empty. If I put something, I put 1, for example, I put something here, now it said 17. So it's counting the values. Okay. So, interesting. It's interesting. So I can count related records very easily. So That's why I'm using the count to tell me how many pages I have, because it's super easy. Number of pages. For that invoice, I have an auto entry calculation that tells me count how many records I have and divided it by the number of pages you have. So he's doing 17 divided by 10. Okay, 17 divided by 10. So you have 1.7. And we use sailing. Sailing will everything that is 1.5 and more will go to. Let me explain. Sailing. Sailing, if I have 1.4, everything that is more than 1, you will say 2. You understand? Okay. You say 2. Everything that is more, that it will be sailing. And you have floor is doing the same, but in the opposite. Right? So if you say floor 1.1, it will say 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? It will go down. If you say, you understand? So sailing is everything that is 1 point something, it will say up 2, and if flooring is set down. Okay, so I'm using sailing because if I have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, it will be 2 pages. If it's more than 1 page, I cannot have 1 page and a third. No, it's 1, 2, 3. It's an integer. Okay, so that's why I'm using sailing. So I have my number of pages. I have 2 pages. For that amount, I have 2 pages. Okay. All of this thanks to my list of values. Okay. Otherwise, I don't have it. So that's cool. I have my number of pages and I have the amount, the list of the amount, right? And then I'm going to another layout, right quick, right? If I have something, delete everything, because I want to reset. That will reset everything every time you do something. But let's say I don't have anything. Okay, let's say I don't have anything, and I want to tell, okay, I have a list of value of 17 records, and I have 2 pages. What is doing here? First of all, it's doing a loop because I'm going to count, so it's a counter. So I count how many pages I will have. I will have 2 loops here. 2 because I have 2 pages. So this guy here is going to drive how many times it will loop. That's why I'm saying if the counter, each time you loop, you have a counter that's at +1, +1, +1, +1. He said, okay, if the counter equals the number of pages, stop it. That means it's done. When you reach 2, stop it. When you reach 3, stop it, right? Okay. So, super easy. So what I'm doing here, I'm setting, so this is a technique I want to show you this. It's a technique to create a related record. So you can create a related record, but I'm not sure if I want to explain that today, but one day I'm going to explain that. I'm creating a related record. Let's say I'm creating a record. And what is this record? So this is the most interesting here. Okay. But here's interesting. This is where it starts to be interesting. So I'm taking the list. I have my list of amounts, right? I have my number of pages, right? And I have my counter, right? And here I said, because remember, I said I use the middle values, the middle values. So you have, I want to start with 1 and take 10. And then I want to start with more than 10 and the next 10. So I want to start with 11 and take 10. And then let's say I have 3 pages. Let's say if I have 3 pages, I want to go to the 21 and next 10. To do so, that's very simple. It's a very simple math. my max number of page maximum by the number where I'm in, minus the max, right? And then I'm adding a 1. So what that will do, that's a math, but I could have used another function but I didn't want to make the thing complicated, is the mod. I couldn't use mod, but I didn't want to use this. I take the maximum by the counter. Let's say maximum by the counter. Let's make it max 10, okay? By the number 10 by 1. Okay? Let's say now I am in the 2. I'm in the, my counter, it says I'm in the second loop. 10 by 2, 20. Okay? But the max, so I want to make sure I'm in the max, I want to remove 10. So let's do it. Let's do it. 10 by 1 minus 10. 0. Right? And I'm adding 1. So now I have 1. Let's say I'm doing this, I'm saying, okay, I'm in the second loop. What I'm doing here, I'm 11. So I start with 11 because I said I have 10 pages. I have 10 row per page. I have 2 pages. Let's say I have 3 pages. I have 4 pages. So you get the point. Let's say I'm changing. I'm in the page 1 and I have 12 per page, right? It still works. Page 2, I have to start with the 13 because it's 12 plus 1. I need to start with. So this counts me where to start selecting the value. Remember, this is to tell me when I am in the middle values on the list of amounts, and I want to take 10 always, and I want to start on the first one or on the 11th one, right? Or on the 11th, or on the 21st, or on the 31st, or on the 41st. Each time you need to start, to select the first page, right? And then to select the second page, right? So to create this number in the loop, this is the calc you need to use, okay? So it's a very elementary kind of calculation here. It's not something very complicated. When I have this, I use my middle value, which is easy. I'll just show you how to do that. Okay. And this is where it starts to be a little bit hairy. Okay. And this is what I want to show you. We cannot, okay, FileMaker doesn't allow me to do this. And this is, I don't know why, it's, so to do a sum, remember, you know what sum is, right? I can do a sum on this. That will work, right? So I do a sum of related records. So the total of my 17, but I want the sum of the middle values, this, and this doesn't work. Ha! This doesn't work. We cannot do this. So how we can do this, right? How we can, and even though I'm using a let statement, it won't do. I cannot do a sum on something like this. I cannot do list and do 100, 200, 300. It won't work. It won't work. The same thing. I cannot get a list, right? So, but we have a way, always. Okay. So here, what I want to do, but, I can do what I can do. I can do this. I can do a sum of this. Right? So I can do something like this. But I cannot put here a list, right? So I cannot say list or middle value. I cannot do. I just demonstrate. So what we do, we use a technique we call that a post evaluation, a pre-evaluation. Okay. So we are going to, let me copy this and put it here. Right. So we're going to do this. Let's say my counter here is 1. So this is 570. But if my counter is 11, right? Why I cannot, the max invoice, why is not working? Wait, something wrong here. Lists, amount, oh, I'm not, yeah. Amounts, invoice, something wrong here. I don't know why it doesn't want to, something like this. Why 1 is working and 11 not?
That's
oh
fine.
no, sorry, no, it's my fault. No, it's first page, second page.
Oh,
First
there
page.
you go.
Okay, yeah. No, it's the 11. This guy is going to do it, right?
Got it.
So I'm in the first page, and I'm in the second page. So how we can do this? We use a pre-evaluation technique. So I'm going to make a webinar on this one day. So using this evaluate function. Okay. So first of all, let's, do we have time? Yeah, we have time. So let's show what the evaluate function do. Evaluate is this. I can say, FileMaker, I want you to evaluate 1 plus 1. Right. Evaluate. Tell me how much this. Okay. Or evaluate get current date minus 1. Okay. Oh no, get current date is not working. Evaluate. For example, the count of the invo of the amount, right? Minus 2, for example. Count of the amount, sorry, minus 2. Right? So you can evaluate something. You can evaluate, right? So you can, it's a way to tell a FileMaker, calculate this, no, make it, build it. But we can do many things with this, okay? We can do many things. We can say, we can build something like this. We can build like this. We can say, evaluate this, right? So we can say, let's say if I have an example that pops to my mind, if we can say this, evaluate list, for example, right? This and count this, for example, this, and that will no, sorry, evaluate this and this, evaluate list, the amount, and this. Something wrong? Oh, yeah, why not? Why not? List, stack, amount of this. Why is that working? I have no idea. A function parameter require, or maybe we can say this. We can say and this and this. It will work like this. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Okay. So we can, yeah, because we cannot mix. Okay. So we can type text. So it's text. We can transform a text into a valid function, right? So this is the technique I'm using because I want to build this. I want to evaluate the sum of something like this, 10, 11, 12, right? I want to evaluate something like this, right? This works. So I'm building, typing a string that will add, that this guy will say, okay, I understand that, I recognize this as a function, and I'm going to treat it as a function. That's why we call that evaluate. Okay. So how to get this? Okay. So that's very easy. I've done here. I'm taking my list. So I'm taking this, right? And I'm transforming into this, right? So it's very simple to do this. I'm transforming the carriage return, right, into a comma, right, semicolon. So I'm because I could have say this, I mean, I could have say, yeah, it want here expression. I could have said this. I could have said blah blah blah. You know, I could have said whatever I want here, right? So, but I want this. Okay. So I build, this is text, pure text, and now I'm saying get the text sum this, and here the whatever this will return, the list here, and right, close it. No, build the function, and then now the evaluation works. And I can say I want 1, 2. Right? I can say from that, because this here will select, because the list of value will select the list of value, this list here will select the first, second, 2 batches from 1 to 11, from 1 to 10, and 11 to whatever. Okay. So if this change, this also will change, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And if this change, then the result will change. So you see, we can do this because we have a lot of things out of our arsenal. First, we have the count, to count the number of page. Then we have the middle values, to select from a list of values from that value to that value. And then we have a substitution, because substitutes works extremely well on values. Okay, let me show you substitutes. Okay, let's say I have a substitute here. Okay, so I want to substitute this text here. Let's say I have my summary field, right? And I want to change test by Nick. So not this, the list of summary, right? So it's powerful. It was text originally it was this, right? And I changed into this, right? So imagine what you can do here, right? You can do many things. Something that comes to my mind, okay? Sometime what we need to do, and this is very useful, is when we have a date. Okay? We have a date, And so this is something I'm using often, well, because I have a lot of solution with multi countries, and Canada, France, Switzerland. So it could be, I have a lot of. Okay, so let's say I have this date here. Let's say I have this date here, and let's say I have this dates here. Oops. Oh, yeah. I need to change. I need to deactivate this for now. And I have this here. Okay, so I have 3 dates. Okay, let's say I'm going to use my list of technique stuff here of dates. Summary field. And I say list of date, because we can do a list of whatever we want. Okay. So often what I have to do is something like this. Substitutes from the list of dates. I want to change this into this, right? So that's something very useful. So imagine, but I just want to do this, but I don't need to, what's the name? I don't want to change the value, right? I don't want to change the value. I don't want to go and do something like this. Why? Because if you do, you break it. Let's say you do this, replace, and you want to replace, do the same thing. Substitute, right, on the date, and you want to do that hard-coded, right? You want to do this, and you want to do this. Here what you will do. Here what you will do. So it won't be a date anymore. It won't be recognized as a date anymore. So that's why you don't want to do this. You want to do the other way, right? So, do we have any question?
We do, actually, from
Okay,
David
cool.
Angel.
Okay, cool.
This technique is tied to a specific quantity of records per page? Question mark.
No, no. Yeah, okay. So you need to define, which we always have. We don't have a layout, a printing layout that changed that much. Okay, that means here I have a layout to print, right? And I know the max number of rows I can print. This is something we get, So I know how many I have. Okay, I know how many I have. So how many records I have per page. Okay. So based on this, the page, I have the number of the max number of records. Okay. The max number of records per page. I have the number of lines I have. Then you understand what that means, what it's doing, right? I'm setting the total. I'm creating records in a table here. So here, that's why I have 2. Here I have 2. Let's say I'm going to create to have 3 page. Okay. 19, 20, so far so good. I still have 2 pages. But if I do 21 row, now have 3 page. But we have 3 page when we have this. So 3 page, right? So now I can print. I have 3 totals. So 3 total for each page. So now, before we go, I have 4 minutes to show because I have a meeting starting at 5, so I cannot be late. So this is good. This is good. But how I can display this based on the page. So why I'm using a record? Why I'm not saying whatever? Why I'm using a record? Let's go there. The answer is there. Here, I have my page number. And you can see here my page number, right, is calculated on the invoice, so it's there. Okay. Here I have a calculation. Okay, and this is where another great what's the name? Another great advantage of the value. Let me show you this, because this is value based. Let's say it's called records, okay, get ends record, but it's based on the value, in the list of values. Okay, so why I'm using this technique here? Okay, so what gets ends records? Let's say I'm here, right? So this is very powerful. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 pages, right? What the get ends records. So gets value is based on the list of value. I need to get a list of values. Okay. Add value to this. I can go value number 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the same type of function on the record level. So on the record level, the level up, a level up. So I told you, the value is the last on the food chain, on the hierarchy, is the smallest possible value. On top of it, we have the record just on top. So that's why we have the get nth record. So what does the get nth record do? It's based on records, but it's based on the related records. It doesn't work on the current records, on the local, on the current table. It will work on related records. So if I do this, and I have the same as get value, but here is based on records. I cannot do, with get value, I can do whatever I want. With get value, I can do this. I can say, okay, I have a list of value. I have lists, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I have a list, and I want the value number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So let's say you understand. So with get record, I'm stuck, because again get nth record is based on record. So now what I'm doing here, right? I have 3 records here, right? So let's go to the page, right? And let's go to the total. And now I say I want the first, the second, and the fourth. And let's say the number that will help me get that's 1, 2, 3 is the get page number. Right? Let's say I'm using the page number, that the printing page number is something you get only when you are in preview mode, or when you print, or when you export in PDF. You will get the page number there, right? So the combination of the get nth record pointing to a list of records, that's why I'm using records. That's why I'm not using values, because I cannot say, I can do the same thing with the value. I could, but it's more complicated. It's better to use the records, right? And now I have a calculation, unstored calculation, that will tell me the total that I need to show on the page based on the page number is the end record of the total page of the the total of for each page, the 3 records and the page number. So let's show. Right. Let's go there. No, let's go there. Here. Let's see if it works. Preview mode. Right. Page 1, page 2, page 3. Right. Because the get page number. So he's doing this. He's doing this. He's doing page number. So get page number. I'm on page 3. Right? Here, I'm on page 2. And here, I'm on page 1. If I am on browse mode, it will always show page 1. Always. You will never get page 2. This works only on print, preview, or export PDF. Right? So if we don't have questions, I think we're good to go.
I don't think I see any more questions. I think we might be good. In which case, we'll be back here tomorrow to continue.
Yeah. Tomorrow, okay. Tomorrow we're going to do something, another application of the values, but this is cool. I'm going to I have a bug that I want to fix on the script, and that when this is 0 is buckling. So I want to fix this, and then I'm going to send you the file. What?
Yes, no, that sounds fantastic. In that case, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Thank you so much, Nick. We look forward to calling you in tomorrow, and we're going to actually run the music instead of just me talking. Ba, 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 ba.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir.